Hey there, welcome back to Occupy Democrats. And in this breaking story, there's a cliche that says you can tell what someone's like by the way they treat the waiter. There's also a way you can tell what a CEO's like by the way they treat their employees. But when it comes to Donald Trump in this breaking story, you can tell what kind of leader of a country you are by the responsibility you demand from those around you. And in this case, of course, cabinet members like Hegseth, Scott Bessent, and certainly Kristi, Ice Barbie, Noem when it comes to the Department of Homeland Security and all of her BS lies and illegal activities from ICE and Border Patrol to everything else. I'm going to show that story to you in just a few seconds. But old Moskowitz over on the Hill brought this to light in such a brilliant way. You have got to see this right here.
I mean, Mr. President, you had one of the most popular TV shows, right? People would tune in weekly. You would fire the weakest link of your team. People loved it when you fired people, Mr. President, sitting in the boardrooms, much watch TV. You made millions of dollars firing people for a living.
Yeah, he loves to fire people because when Kristi Noem lies under oath, she gets reminded about it in this hearing here.
Secretary Noem, this past May, I asked you during a congressional hearing if it was the policy of DHS to follow orders issued by federal courts.
Moskowitz is right. He likes to fire people.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Secretary Noem, you lied to me under oath that day. You lied to the American people.
And keep on firing them.
Fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
And you have betrayed the trust placed upon you in your role as Secretary of Homeland Security.
But now someone convinced you firing people is weakness.
And Ms. Slotkin makes it very clear, yes, Noem has done several things that deserve her to be gone, out, fired, impeached, or something.
Just this past weekend, she called Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist. She just doesn't understand, in her cabinet secretary role, her responsibilities. And so she should resign.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
If not, the president should fire her. And if not, then we should impeach her.
Where is that guy? What happened to him? That's why ratings are down, Mr. President. It would be must-watch TV. Think about it, Mr. President.
It would be must-watch TV.
Tens of millions of people will tune in. You bring Kristi Noem into your little conference room. You have a cabinet meeting, right? And you fire her.
What happened to that guy? Yeah, where's he at?
Right there on TV. Oh, the ratings would be through the roof. Think about the hat she would wear. I mean, it'll be majestic.
Yet in this breaking story, while Donald Trump continues to pretend and convince maggots that he actually cares about American people, well, you sure don't care about them if you don't care about the safety of their travel. Kind of like Sean Duffy over at the FAA, stumping and pimping for Trump as well. But in this breaking story, you will not believe what Kristi Noem hid back in November from the truth about what's going on in TSA security. This is abject, dangerous, wrong, and deserves her to be fired. Check this breaking story out.
Kristi Noem caught covering up key flaw in her own security policy for months, a policy championed by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to speed up Transportation Security Administration lines at airports in fact had a key security flaw, but when it was reported to her, the department classified it and kept it buried for months, reported the Wall Street Journal on Friday. The policy is one of the few undertaken by Noem's DHS that has enjoyed considerable bipartisan support, ending requirements for people to remove their shoes at airport security lines, a policy enacted after a thwarted shoe bomb plot over 2 decades ago that the traveling public has long considered a nuisance. However, a classified November report by the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General, the agency's top watchdog, found that some of the TSA full-body scanners that most airline passengers pass through can't scan shoes, according to people familiar with the report's contents, said the journal. The report determined Noem's policy move had inadvertently created a new security vulnerability in the system. Some White House officials have been made aware of the report. After the report was given to Noem, officials there gave it a higher level of classification and blocked it from being publicly released, according to the report. Noem's office denies this account of events and says that action was taken to fix the vulnerabilities after the report. However, said the Journal, this is not the only time Noem has been accused of brushing off security concerns in the name of her image. In another instance, her office published photos of a secret government facility, publicizing a site meant to house the president in emergencies, officials said. This comes after Noem was accused of playing politics by suspending TSA PreCheck to try to turn the public against Democrats for allowing DHS funding to lapse amid an argument over reforms to immigration and customs enforcement. The White House itself reportedly intervened to overrule Noem and continue operating TSA PreCheck.
Now, if you're a cabinet member in this country, regardless of the party, regardless of the president, and you have the absolute desire to cover up something like that, I'm not saying it's a simple mistake, but it's a mistake. But it's a correctable mistake. Why would you need to classify something to the degree that it never sees the light of day? Why? Because you think the position you're supposed to be in is being perfect? No. You're supposed to be able to note when you make mistakes and fix them and have people understand, we're fine, we're good, we got it. But not this administration. There is nothing about Donald Trump and nothing about anyone around him who are ever going to disclose any real truths about the mistakes they've made, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and everything about that mentality, narrative, rhetoric, and policy comes from the top. And as we know, Trump is never wrong. You guys like and share the video and stay frosty.